Hey polish freaks, welcome back to another review. I love polish freaks. It's like my new favorite thing. Anyway, Olive and June has had a ton of collabs the last few months, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 3. They piled up on me a little bit, but I'm catching up and I'm going to do all 3 together in this video. I do have a discount code for Olive and June. It's Go Polished 20. I will put that up here so you guys can see that. And that is for new customers who purchase a mani or pedi system. So I'm hoping this video is helpful. If you're looking to get the mani or pedi system, it's nice to know what polishes that you might want to get. You can either choose 1 or 6 in that, or you can choose one of the new collections that has just come out. Like right now, it's the fall collection. Well, actually, I think they just came out with the winter collection, so it's probably that one that's available right now, but you can add whatever polishes you want. So you can use that discount code if you decide that you do want to get the mani or pedi system with Olive and June. I do recommend it. I do think they have a really great top coat. I think their polishes and the top coat combination just really give you a long-lasting mani, and I'm really impressed with the brand. First, I'm going to talk about the Stoney Clover collab, which is 3 gorgeous neutrals, and then I'm going to talk about the Golde collab, which has some 3 kind of brighter shades, and then I'm going to talk about the Cupcakes and Cashmere collab that has some beautiful kind of reds and corals and pinks, and there's 6 polishes in that collection. I will insert in here breaks so you can like skip to one collection if you want to, if you don't prefer to listen to all of them. So I'll put that here for you guys, and you guys can just skip to the one that you want to listen to, or you can listen to all 3 because you're polish freaks like me and you can't get enough. Okay, so let's get into the first one. So this is the Stoney Clover collab. It's got like a off-white nude color, and then it's got like a peachy pink nude, and then it has this nice kind of brighter pink. So this first one is LHG, and it's this beautiful neutral. So it's kind of like a bone color. So it's a milky creamy white with maybe a touch of pink. It's such a beautiful shade. I am going to do comparisons sometimes within Olive and June's line and sometimes not, because if they have ones that are close, I'm definitely going to add them. But if they don't, I probably won't, and I'll probably just mention it. But this is a beautiful polish. This is going to take 3 coats to build up, which is kind of typical for any of these lighter shades, but it does have a pretty good formula. I watched a live with Olive and June, and I think that they said that CDJ and BEB are kind of like the parents of this, so it's kind of in between that, and I would say that's probably pretty true. I did not do a comparison for those though. I wanted you to see how it also compared to other polishes and other popular lines. Here are those comparisons here. So we've got Urban Jungle. It's a little bit more taupe, but kind of close, along the same kind of lines. And then ECC, I did throw that one in there. I wanted you to see that that one was a little bit more gray. And then I put in Hue as the Artist, and that one's lighter and more purple toned. So there wasn't anything that was exactly the same with this, which I really found surprising. And sometimes I do miss things. You guys know that. It's hard to go through your entire collection and really find some that are exact, but it's a really beautiful color. I think it's great for Olive and June to have this one in their line. The next one we have is KAG. It's got a really beautiful formula. I love these kind of peachy pinks. They're some of my favorites, and so I do have a lot of comparisons for this one. The formula on this one is really great. It was so close to 2 coats, but I felt like I really needed to do 3, and that's how I generally feel when I do these lighter kind of shades, basically in all nail polish lines. So I really liked this one. Let's talk about the comparisons. Before I get into those comparisons, I wanted to say that Pink Sands I didn't compare it to. That one's more pink, and HGC is light and not as pink, so I didn't compare those, just so you guys are aware. But let's talk about what I did compare it to. I compared it to Let's Be Friends, and that one's more peachy, and that's the 2016 version. And then Stop It I'm Blushing is closest but slightly more peach, and then Talk to the Sand is more peach and brighter. So you can see those comparisons there. And like I said, I didn't find anything exactly the same as this one either, at least what I have in my collection. And then we have SCL, and I love these kind of pinks so much, you guys. Oh, you'll see it in the picture here, but it's just a bubblegum pink, a really light, soft one. I think every brand kind of has a polish like this, so I think it's really appropriate that Olive and June has one too, because everyone needs one. It's like the best kind of polish in my opinion. It's like my favorite to wear. It's got a beautiful brightness to it. It's got a really good formula for this kind of polish, and I think some of those other lines formulas can be tricky on those, and we'll talk about those in a minute, but this one has a nice formula. I do think you are going to need 3 coats, so I was so close to 2 like I was in the last one, but I do think you're going to need 3 coats. So here are those comparisons. I compared it to Rosy Tips, and that one's softer. I wanted you to see that because that is part of Olive and June's line, and then I wanted you to see Mod About You, and that one's slightly more pink tone. And then Fiji is lighter and a little bit more peachy. So as you can see, it's not exact as those, but it's really close. It's along that same kind of line. So I really think it's great that Olive and June has a polish like this in their line because everyone needs one of those bright light pinks. So now we're going to move into the Golde collab. And here are the polishes for that one. We've got this beautiful blue here and this green and this beautiful brighter peach. And we are going to start with the beautiful peach. And I love, love, love these kind of shades too. They're some of my favorites. So I really love light pinks and corals and like red corals and green. Those are some of my favorite types of polishes to wear. I was really excited about this one. I think this color is so fun for summer and springtime. And I always wear a shade like this at least once or twice during the summertime. The formula is pretty good. You're going to need 3 coats on this one as well. I do find with Olive and June lately, they're kind of hit and miss. Sometimes you'll need 3 coats, which I don't mind doing, but I know some people don't like it. And then some of them are 2. So just want you guys to be aware of that because some people don't like that. I don't mind it. Let's talk about those comparisons. So I compared it to Wild and Free. That one's lighter but in the same color family. And when I put that one on, I was like, oh man, I did not pull that out very much this summer and I love that one so much. It's a lighter version of this one and so I love these both. So if you don't have that one, that's a good one to get to. It really is just so pretty. And then I compared it to Hot as Hello and that one was very, very close. The formula on that one is a little bit tricky and so I will say that I like Glow better than that one, but that's a good kind of common Essie polish. I have had that bottle around for a long time though, so I can't remember if the formula has always been like that or if it's just that I've had my bottle for a little while. And then I compared it to Peachside Babe and that's more pink and a little bit brighter. I did not compare it to Check In to Check Out because that one's more orange. In fact, a lot of the ones that Essie has lean a little bit more orange. If you really love Hot as Hello from Essie, you're really gonna like this one because they're pretty much exactly the same color. And then we have Energize, which is this beautiful, beautiful light green. I love these in the summer and spring as well. And really this was released, I think it was in July. So I've had this for a little while. Anyway, you can wait and pull it out again or you can wear it now. I think this actually is kind of a cool fall color as well. So this one has, it's cool tone, but it does have a touch of yellow in it. So it's not completely cool toned like some of my favorite greens are, but I do really like this one a lot. It's got a pretty good formula. Again, this one's going to be 3-coater, but it does build up very nicely. So here are those comparisons. How Does Your Zen Garden Grow from OPI is slightly more cool toned, and that's probably the closest, but as you can see, it is a little bit more cool toned. And then Going Guru, which is one that I really, really love from Essie because that's cooler than How Does Your Zen Garden Grow, and it's just so beautiful. I love those really cool toned greens. And then Tropicami on My Cell has a really sheer formula, and it's definitely more yellow, so that one's different. So those are the closest ones that I had in my collection. I don't have a ton of these, and I love that Olive and June has one of these now in their collection because I just love this kind of green. And then we have Boost. This is a beautiful, beautiful blue. It's almost periwinkle, but not quite. I love these kind of blues that are a little bit cooler. In fact, they're my favorite type of blue to wear. I don't wear blue a ton, but I love, love, love these kind of shades. This one built up pretty good in 2 coats. You might need 3, but I felt like I got it pretty solid in 2 coats. This color is just so great. So I compared it to the Eyes Have It from OPI, and that's one of my favorite blues. That is such a good polish, you guys. So, so good. And that one's closest, but it's a touch lighter, but I would say they're pretty close. And then I compared it to Malibu Shore from OPI, and that one's darker and not as cool toned. And then of course I pulled in Mega Bay Blue from Olive and June, and that one's more of a warm blue. So this one's definitely unique to Olive and June's line. And I do think I like this one better than Mega Big Blue just because I do prefer those cooler tones to the warmer tones. Okay, so that wraps up that collection. I'm trying to figure out what to do about favorites. I think I'm just gonna pick my favorites out of all these collections at the end. We'll do that last. So the Cupcakes and Cashmere collection, let me pull them all out for you so you can see them all together. So here they are. We got some light pinks, some mid-tone pinks, and some brighter kind of corals and reds. I always like to start out lightest to darkest, so we're going to start with this one here, and this is called Point Dune. This is a light muted pink, and I love it so much. I love these pinks so much, you guys. It's going to be hard to pick a favorite out of these. Well, actually, no, it won't. I can already tell which ones I like more, so I will let you know at the end. But it is so beautiful. It's a little bit muted. You're going to need 2 to 3 coats. That's what I have written down. Most likely 3, it says here in my notes. So probably do 3, best to do 3, but it builds up very nicely. All these are going to build up very nicely, even though they're going to take 3 coats at times. So when I pulled comparisons out, I was like, oh, there's a reason that I like this. It's very, very similar to the pinks that I have in my fall favorites video. If you guys saw that, they're a little bit more muted. And so I did comparisons to those so you guys could see. So I compared it to Don't Bossa Nova Me Around, and that one's more muted and not as pink, but it's kind of along the same lines. And then Go Go Geisha is even more nude than Don't Bossa Nova Me Around, and plus it has like a touch of purple, but they were close. I think the closest one that I did have that I really should have added to my fall favorites, and I knew there would be some that I didn't add in there, it's gotta be Movie Buff, you guys. That is so good, and it's the closest. It's a touch lighter, but it's almost exact. So if you loved Movie Buff and you're really getting into Olive and June and you want to pick a light pink nude shade, this is the one to get. I love Movie Buff so much, you guys. That's such a good polish, but this is a really good one too from the Olive and June line, and I really enjoyed this one. Okay, this next one's Rose Valley. It's another pink. I did want to do comparisons with a lot of Olive and June pinks, especially after I did those other pinks, because I'm like, they do have a lot of pinks in there, and I want you to be able to look at them and see which one that you really want and be able to decide exactly which one is your favorite. This one's a little bit warmer, so it's got a touch more yellow in it, probably just a touch, so it's a little bit warmer than the other one that I just showed, and maybe I can hold them up together, although I do think I have that on a comparison, and my lights are probably too bright for you to really see that, but I'll show that here in a second. But the formula on this one's pretty good too. Again, you're going to want to do 3 coats because it's a lighter color. I keep repeating myself, but they're all pretty much 3 coaters, the ones that I've gone through so far. Okay, so I compared it to Pink Sands, and that one's lighter, and then like I said, SCL is more cool toned, and then SE is darker and warmer, so then you can see those there, the differences in the Olive and June line, which I thought you guys would really appreciate. So hopefully that's helpful. Then we have a Stinson Sunset, and I was really excited about this one when I saw it in the pictures because I love these kind of colors, and I am going to just hold this one up next to it so you can see this one's more orange and this one's more pink, but they are kind of that same, along the same lines, and Essie has a lot of those too that are like more orange coral and more pink coral. So this is more pink coral. So it's a beautiful, beautiful shade. It was very, very close to 2 coats, but I would definitely do 3 on this one as well. So here are the comparisons because I knew I would have some that are pretty close to this. So I compared it to Throw in the Towel, which is a beautiful color, and that one's more pink. I love Throw in the Towel so much, you guys. If you don't have that polish, go get it. It's so good. The formula is so great, and it's just so awesome. And then I compared it to Lounge Lover, and that was the closest. In fact, it's almost exact. I would say it's maybe a teeny, teeny, tiny touch more pink. I don't know if you can see that in the picture or not. Hopefully you can, but that one's pretty close. And that's another one of my Essie favorites. So I love that Olive and June is getting some of my favorite colors in their line. And then Time for a Napa is more red and more coral leaning, and I just wanted you to see that. So those are the comparisons for that one, and I really, really enjoyed this one. Then we have Fig Ranch, and I love these kind of figgy mauve shades. Figgy. Figgy's probably not a word. Someone commented that I'm always making up words, and I pretty much am, but that's okay. I'm gonna make figgy a word. This is a nice, beautiful figgy polish. I love it so much. I love shades like this. It instantly reminded me of Simply Radishing, but we're not gonna talk about it. Let's talk about the formula, and then we'll talk about comparisons in a second. It's so good. This one's gonna build up really nice in 2 coats, so there's only a few in here that are 2 coaters, but I just love this one so much, you guys. I thought I might get asked how it compares to World Lit, and so I wanted to show you here that World Lit is in the same color family, definitely, but it's a few shades lighter. They like to set up their polishes, I think, so that you can do ombres with them, and so that would be a good one to pair or match with it. And then I also didn't put Island Hopping on here, but Island Hopping has more pink in it. It's not as red. I thought I might get asked about that as well. So here's those comparisons. So here is Simply Radishing, and that one's more purple toned. See how beautiful that is, you guys? I think that's why I love Simply Radishing so much, because it's set apart a little bit from other ones like this, because it does have more purple, and you need that one. I'm sure you've heard me say that a few times. I talked about it in my fall video, and I talked about it in the OPI Nature Strong review, but that one was one of my favorites. Okay, let's keep talking about Fig Ranch. So now for What It's Earth, that one's more muted and lighter but close, and and that one's also from the Nature Strong line, and then in Stitches is a little deeper and richer and more red toned. So nothing exact as this, and Olive and June doesn't really have a shade like this, and so I'm glad they're adding this one to their line as well. And then we have this beautiful coral shade called Larchment. This is not what I'm wearing on my nails. It's very close to it. In fact, this is Color Binge. It's actually a little more orange, but Color Binge is one of my favorite polishes, and I mentioned that in my fall favorites video too. I'll be wearing a lot of those fall favorites the next few months. But anyway, back to this one. It has a beautiful formula. It's a little bit craylish, and I love crayly squishy nails. They're so good. It's a mix between a cream and a jelly polish, so it's gonna be a little bit sheer, but not sheer enough that you can't build it up in a few coats, and I love this. So this is buildable in 2 beautiful coats. So I saved this comparison to go with the next red because these are very, very close to each other. This one's slightly more coral than this next one that I'm going to talk about. This one is just like a touch more red, but they look, I mean, they're super, super close. This one's just a touch lighter, which I found kind of interesting, and they both have similar formulas. So I'm going to move on to this next one, which is called ES, and it's a beautiful red with a touch of coral, not just a teeny bit. So it's just a teeny bit deeper. The formula is pretty much the same as this other one, so it's beautiful crayly formula. It's going to build up really nicely in 2 coats and give you that kind of squishy look. So let's talk about those comparisons. I compared them all together. So I put in all reds from Olive and June so you could see the differences. So Larchmont is more cooler toned, and then ES is kind of between Larchmont and CV, which is next to it, and CV is definitely more red. And so Hibiscus is definitely more of a pinky red. So those are the reds there all in a row for you to see from Olive and June, at least the ones that are the closest to this one. Okay, we made it through those 3 collections. I'm glad I finally got those done. They've been hanging around for a little bit. Let me pick my favorites. Okay, so out of all the lighter nude shades, I picked these 2. So I picked the cooler tone one called SCL, this one here, and then this next one that I picked here was Point Doom, and that one's just a little bit more muted, and I think perfect for fall. And so I think that's why I'm just kind of craving these polishes this time of year. And then I picked these 3, and I kind of want to stick the green in here too, but I didn't because I do kind of like the cooler ones better. But Going Guru is really hard to find, and so I would definitely get that one. Let's add it. So I'm gonna add it. I love it. It's pretty. It's called Energize. I'm really kind of liking lime green, and I kind of went through a lime green and a bright coral orange this summer, so I'm still kind of digging those. And then Boost, which is the blue here, and then Glow, which is this beautiful orange light coral shade that was close to Hot as Hello, and then this beautiful coral Larchmont. I love coral, so I can wear coral any time of the year. Okay, which ones are your favorites? What do you think about Olive and June having so many collabs? I think it's great because I think they're building up their line, but it's definitely a little bit overwhelming, and hopefully these videos are helpful so you can choose what polishes you want to get if you decide to get that mani-pedi system. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching and commenting, polish freaks. I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and it's been so fun getting to know you guys. Make sure to like and comment and subscribe, and we will see you in my next review. Bye guys.